Before we start, just a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. Only 2% are subscribed. At 1,000 subscribers, I'll be posting a special video. The latch clicks, I slip inside before the door shuts. Footsteps climb fast, I match the rhythm 2 flights behind. My name is Mara, I am 31. I keep to the rail and count breaths like coins. He pauses on the landing, listening. A motion sensor blinks, I freeze under the camera blind spot. Keys jingle once, then go quiet ahead. If he turns now, I lose everything. My shoe scuffs, metal sings against concrete. He stops, the stairwell swallows both our hearts. I move first, 2 soft steps, then still. A neighbor shouts down a floor, door thumps shut. He relaxes, tiny exhale, and keeps climbing. I follow with new spacing, 3 steps between each pulse. The gap feels safe until it doesn't. His floor, he fishes for the right key, shoulders tight. I angle my phone, dark screen, camera ready. 1 quick frame and I will leave clean. I raise it, then a buzz rattles my palm. His head whips back like a trap. Is someone there? His voice cuts hard through concrete. I drop the phone into my sleeve and cough. Not sick, just noise to mail him doubt. Sorry, my voice comes small and tired. He watches the corner and decides not to push. He steps to his door, then freezes again. I feel the calculation from here, fight, flight, call. I shift weight so the stair resonates. Old pipes grumble, a line hisses like rain. He accepts the excuse and turns the lock. The door sticks, he bumps it with his hip. I close distance quietly, 2 measured beats. Another buzz, wrong time, wrong hand, wrong life. I press the mute and taste my mistake. Silence now feels louder than the alarm. A dog barks below, sudden and sharp. He looks past me down the well of stairs. I pivot into shadow as the door opens. Hinges complain, short, nervous, guilty. He slips inside and the chain slides home. I check the photo, black square, useless. I do not take a second chance here. The building breathes and forgets me for a moment. I pocket the phone and plan the new angle. My exit shifts when a deadbolt snaps again. The door opens a crack, I hit the gap. I turn my face so only a cheek shows. My pulse hammers, sweat prickles where it matters. Hello, his voice is closer, steadier now. This is the fork I built and feared. I lean into the banister and fake a call. Yeah, 5th floor is clear, I keep it clipped. No names, no details, only confidence. The door hesitates, then closes with a softer click. A chain lifts again behind it, or maybe not. I start down fast, controlled, then slow it too. The elevator dings, I do not risk that trap. Stairs are honest, stairs keep secrets if paid. Outside means cameras and street questions. I need one proof before I disappear. I go up instead, 1 floor higher. The roof door is alarmed, tiny red dot steady. I study the gap under his threshold from above. Light leaks then dims as he moves inside. My window is a minute or less. I slide an envelope under his mat. Empty, harmless, a breadcrumb he can ignore. If he kicks it aside, I calibrate fear. If he picks it up, I learn curiosity. Either way, tomorrow will answer me. I back down, hand on rail for balance. A neighbor appears with groceries and a stare. Long night, I give a nod and a smile. She squeezes past, suspicious but sleepy. I keep moving before the questions hatch. Street air hits like a slap I need. I circle the block and watch his windows. Curtains shift once, then settle like a verdict. I mark the time and the exits in my head. He is safe tonight unless I am wrong. I head to the stop and melt into noise. A cyclist cuts close and curses without slowing. I deserve that kind of honesty tonight. I check my phone for patterns and mistakes. The empty photo glares like a dare. I ride 3 stations, then jump off early. A patrol car idles near the kiosk. I study the plates without staring, training holds. 1 number matches a scribble in my notes. Coincidence or the start of something uglier? I stand behind a column and count slowly. The car doesn't move, radios hiss then hush. If they sweep the block, they'll see me wait. I buy a ticket to nowhere and take the stairs. Distance is a blanket I learned to knit. On the platform, a train rushes in hot. Doors open, I step on then back out. A man watches that stutter and files it away. I meet his gaze and hold until he folds. Some risks you smother with posture. The car finally leaves, the station breathes again. I climb back to street level and cross. My route angles toward a second vantage. His building sits 3 blocks over the ridge. I keep him framed without touching his night. Across the avenue, a rideshare slows. Same model as last week near his gym. My stomach tightens and my feet answer first. I drift to a trash can and mirror the lane. The car hesitates, then rolls past me. I catch the partial plate and let it burn. Not proof, not nothing, fuel for later. I log it and close the note with care. My fingers shake once, then settle to steel. Control returns like a tie-dye command. Back at my corner, the sky starts thinning. Workers gather and trade short jokes and yawns. I choose the crosswalk and the longer loop. I will not lead strangers to his door. Danger does not need invitations. A tram bell snaps me into a choice. Home now or one more pass for certainty. I picture the envelope under that mat. I picture the chain that may be lifted. Curiosity and caution wrestle until one blinks. I go once more, slower, cleaner, colder. No glance at cameras, no rhythm to track. His street is quiet enough to lie. I count my steps and stop at the corner. Tonight ends when I let it end. I turn away and keep turning until safe. My jaw aches from clenching against impulse. The empty photo lurks, but not as failure. It is a marker on the road I built. Tomorrow demands better moves and a steadier hand. He opens his place at dawn and finds my slip. He'll nudges it once, then again with more care. He bends, folds it twice, pockets it without looking. His shoulders square like someone taking a test. I wait by the mailboxes and listen for clues. A call connects on speaker for 3 clipped words. Yeah, it was here, breath tight, keys rattle once. He ends the call and scans the corridor. My chest goes still and stubborn under his gaze. He shuts himself inside and locks everything twice. I need the response, not the object itself. Pocketed means curiosity, nudged means doubt. 2 facts change the next step completely. I step out before anyone memorizes my shoes. Street noise gives me cover and choices. He hits the sidewalk 5 minutes later. Cap pulled low, stride set to a hard tempo. I trail from across the lane with new spacing. Lights shift at the corner and force us closer. I turn into shop and buy time. He pauses at the crossing and checks behind. I browse nothing and keep my hands easy. He moves again, slower now, thinking it through. I exit 2 beats later and slip into flow. My sightline catches him with room to react. He detours toward a bus stop without warning. I cut around the block and reach the next one. His reflection rides the glass like a ghost. If he notices me twice, the run is over. I angle my body and let a couple block me. The bus arrives and swallows half the crowd. He waits, jaw tight, then thumbs his phone. No bus for him today, and that matters. He walks past me like I am furniture. Part of me flinches at how easy that is. 2 streets on, a rideshare creeps beside him. Same model as last week near the tram. Plate ends in 7-3 and my pulse jumps. The car lingers at his pace like a tick. I veer closer to test the driver's nerve. The window dips a finger's width, then rises. He checks the mirror and pretends he didn't. I fish my phone and start a fake video. Angle high, voice sharp, hey, you're blocking the lane. The car jolts forward, then brakes hard. He clocks the moment without stopping his stride. Noted, stored, filed under quiet alarm. I fall back 2 doorways and count to 8. The car leaves at the next right with impatience. He recalculates destinations and I feel it. He ducks into a small market and stands near exits. No basket, no browsing, just watching movement. This is a check against both of us. I drift past the entrance and tie a lace. He buys a bottle and asks for change. Coins ring, then pause, then ring again. He always tips when his mind is calm. No tip now, which means watchfulness. He steps out and studies the windows across. I keep walking and use a bus mirror. Up ahead, a street team hands out flyers. I take one and use it as a shield. When he passes, I slip mine into his path. He steps over it and never looks down. Good, he ignores planted bait when stressed. Another corner, he checks an alley for exits. Then he makes a choice I did not predict. He heads for the station and increases speed. I follow with a detour through a service hall. We arrive on opposite sides of the same tracks. A train arrives and eats the platform noise. He boards the second car and stands near doors. I choose the first car and watch the reflections. My heart wants proximity that my plan forbids. Distance keeps him safer than comfort ever could. At the next stop, he jumps off early. Unexpected, sharp, designed to shake a tail. I exit too, but use another stairwell. For 30 seconds, I lose sight completely. Then I catch him again near the turnstiles. He pauses at a vending machine and doesn't buy. Two teens cut between us and snap pictures. He keeps his head down and checks the crowd. I step into their frame and ruin the shot. The kids groan and move, and he moves too. Outside, a delivery van blocks the crosswalk. He pivots down a side street without warning. I follow at a diagonal with cars between us. The ride share from before reappears at the far end. This time it stops with its signals blinking. My throat dries, but my legs decide quickly. I step into the driver's sightlane and wave. Lost, my tone carries like a warning bell. The window lowers an inch, then climbs. The car slides away and takes my suspicion with it. He's watching now with full attention. He doesn't know what I am to him yet. Threat, bystander, mirage, all of them fit. He adjusts course toward a busier block. I let space grow so he keeps breathing. Near the plaza, a patrol car eases by slowly. Officers scan faces and radios murmur with static. He stiffens and pretends to read a poster. I drift to a bench and fake a call again. Patterns repeat when fear runs the wheel. I dial a real number, this time for cover. A friend picks up and hears only my silence. 10 minutes, I whisper, then end it fast. I do not involve anyone unless risk rises. Today, risk learned my name and smiled. He enters a coffee spot I have never used. I wait outside the sightlane and count cups. A barista laughs at something and points left. He half turns and tilts his head like a question. He grabs a lid and checks the door twice. When he exits, our paths almost cross cleanly. My shoulder brushes a passerby and resets timing. He sets off with measured pace and stronger focus. He has tucked the earlier slip deeper now. Whatever he thinks it is has weight. A delivery biker clips a bumper and swears loud. Everyone flinches and looks the wrong direction. I use the distraction to close half the gap. He senses it and enters a bookstore with purpose. I follow after one beat and head for maps. Inside, I catch his reflection in a metal frame. Eyes working, mouth set, mind running checks. He opens a guide and never reads a word. He waits until I pass an aisle, then moves. I cannot let him trap me at a dead end. I pivot out and circle the block for air. When he exits, he spots me without a shield. We face each other across moving traffic. His jaw tightens and his hand goes to his pocket. Decision time lands like a heavy coin. I lift my phone and point at the corner camera. Plenty of eyes here, my voice carries just enough. He breathes once and resets posture to casual. I turn away like I win something small. We both know the game changed in one sentence. He walks toward a gym and flashes a member tag. I can't follow there without burning everything. I stand under a bus number and let him go. Inside, he's either calmer or cornered. Both states can explode fast if prodded. I log times and routes while the hour drains. 3 anomalies today and 1 strong repeat. The car, the early exit, the slip in his pocket. All of it points to a pressure I didn't apply. Something else is chasing him and me by proxy. I take the long way back and erase my trail. 2 extra blocks, 3 unnecessary turns. No plates behind me for 10 straight minutes. Breathing returns in careful sips and stutters. Calm comes late, but it comes like a verdict. At home, I draw a quick grid and circle overlaps. Numbers remove vanity and expose patterns. If 7-3 returns again, I escalate softly. If he ditches the pocketed slip, I pivot. If he keeps it, I am already inside his worry. I plan a cleaner pass for tomorrow and commit. No close brushes, no mirrored glass, no heroics. He needs to feel watched without knowing by whom. Pressure will tell me where he hides his fear. That is the door I will knock next. The note is gone from under his map by noon. I watch the threshold from the stair corner and count. Door opens, floor squeaks, nothing left on the tiles. He chose to keep it or burn it. Both options change how I move next. I trail him to the river path and hold distance. He stretches like he owns the space, measured and wary. A cyclist swerves near him and mouths an insult. He doesn't react, which is its own alarm. People who ignore bait are running math. He starts a steady jog and checks his watch. I cut across a service road and rejoin ahead. When he passes, he clocks my shoes, not my face. Recognition travels up his spine and stops short. He speeds up like the ground got thin. A sedan drifts behind with too much patience. Mirror tilts, shoulder dips, driver looks once then twice. I slow until I'm level with the rear bumper. Maintain distance, I speak loud enough to carry. The driver flicks his blinker and glides away. He veers into a public court and grabs water. I circle the fence and map exits for later. Two teens toss a ball and talk trash. He watches them longer than needed, then leaves. He's using crowds as a moving wall. At the corner, a volunteer hands him a wristband. He pockets it without reading and keeps walking. I accept one too and study the cheap code. Numbers can lead to names if you push. I tuck it deep as a future lever. He enters a clinic and takes a chair near windows. I go in last and stand by a poster. A nurse calls numbers in a careful rhythm. He pretends to scroll while tracking every face. When my turn comes, I leave before questions bloom. Outside, rain starts hard enough to change plans. Cameras crust with droplets and smear shapes to fog. He ducks under an awning and wipes his screen. I plant myself across the lane and pull a hat. We are two islands pretending to drift. A courier stops and asks for his building code. Hey, shrugs and gestures down the block in apology. The courier rolls off with a hand wave. I flag him and ask for the last 3 deliveries. He laughs and rides on, which tells me nothing. Thunder shakes the skyline and breaks our stalemate. He steps into a covered arcade and quickens pace. I mirror on the opposite side behind columns. We pass in parallel like trains on sister rails. He cuts left suddenly and I lose the line. I push through a crowd and find him at a counter. He buys a day pass for a co-working space. I catch the screen reflection and memorize the time. He enters through a turnstile and fades from sight. I need a clean reason to follow without burning. I head around back and watch the loading dock. 10 minutes later, a staff door cracks open. A cleaner steps out to smoke and text. I slip near and ask for directions upstairs. He shrugs and lets the door swing wider. Inside, the hallway smells like bleach and hurry. I walk with a mug I don't own like I belong. No alarms, no questions, only humming machines. Through a pane, I spot him at a booth. His face is tight with a choice he hates. He dials and waits, finger tapping his knee. Stop circling, he says to the air and listens. My stomach drops before I can choke it down. He's not talking to me and that matters. Someone else is writing on his nerves. I angle toward a copier and act annoyed. Noise covers the call until he stands. He pockets the phone and heads for stairs. I pivot to another corridor and exit clean. We hit the street under the same growl of thunder. He walks faster than earlier and watches roofs. I move slower to draw any tail toward me. A man with a faded cap takes the bait. He bumps my shoulder and mutters a warning. I smile like I didn't hear it at all. Catman shadows me for half a block. I turn down a lane and stop at a vending unit. His reflection lands beside mine and holds. You lost? I ask while feeding coins. He scratches his jaw and studies my shoes. I drop a can and let it roll at his feet. He steps back, then pivots toward the main road. He chooses safety over confrontation, which helps. I track him to an idling hatchback with tinted glass. He gets in and answers to someone unseen. Across the boulevard, my target slips into a library. I follow after a beat and keep to the stacks. He requests a meeting room for 1 hour. The clerk points and hands him a numbered card. He disappears behind a door with thin walls. I press an ear and catch pieces between coughs. Stop calling me there, meet at the bridge. Paper rustles, a chair scrapes, silence floods back. My skin knows the rhythm of desperation now. We are 2 steps from someone doing something stupid. He leaves early and tosses the card into trash. A gloved hand fishes it out after he's gone. I clock the glove and follow to the elevator. Doors close, numbers climb, my window tightens. I take the stairs and beat it by 1 floor. The glove exits on 3 and heads for archives. I ghost 2 aisles behind and pretend to read. She pulls a binder and slips the card inside. No pause, no glance, smooth like training. I breathe once and fix her walk in memory. Back outside, the rain has eased to a spit. He stands under a tree and checks both ends. I close in until he can feel the watch. I want him to choose the bridge or cancel. He chooses neither and calls a friend instead. Come to the market side, he rubs his eye hard. I drift to the crosswalk and let a truck screen me. A woman arrives and hugs him fast and fierce. They talk low, she grips his arm when he flinches. They split with a plan I cannot hear. I tail the woman for 4 blocks and stop. Her pace tells me she belongs in his circle. But she keeps checking a rear view that isn't there. They are all learning the same bad lessons. Paranoia spreads like a rumor with teeth. Evening pulls people into doorways and bars. I hover near a bakery and pretend to text. The hatchback from earlier edges down the lane. Capman studies the bakery glass and smirks. He's not after me anymore, he's after him. I cross early and intercept the curve. The hatchback brakes and waits for a gap. I knock the driver's window with a knuckle and smile. Wrong turn, I tilt my head toward a patrol post. The car jerks away and vanishes into traffic. My target appears again with a toad on his shoulder. He heads home by a different grid than morning. I chart the new route and file the detours. Near his block, a siren whoops once and shuts off. He stiffens, then swipes into his building fast. I remain outside and watch windows for movement. Curtains stir, then hold, a lamp flares, then dies. He's pacing, counting, measuring his next move. I wait until my legs ache with warnings. Leaving too early could undo an entire week. On the walk back, I call the non-emergency line. I report a suspicious hatchback near the river path. Details clean, voice board, no personal name. TH. The operator logs it and thanks me briskly. I hang up and feel the thin ice under everything. At home, I lay out wristband numbers, routes. 3 new threads point to the bridge at dusk. The glove suggests a handler, not a fluke. Capman confirms we're not the only watchers. Tomorrow, I step into the open and steer him. I reach the bridge early and seed the ground with choices. A chalk X near the bench, a folded map in the rail. A prepaid phone taped under the span buzzes once. If he touches any of it, I move. If not, I force a cleaner play. He appears at the far end and does a slow scan. No hat, no gym bag, only that watch he checks twice. He reads the river and marks 3 drift points. He is braced for company he hates. I almost respect the stubborn calm. I step out from a kiosk and fall in behind tourists. A child drops a toy and wails like a siren. He flinches toward the sound, then stops himself. That control tells me his nerves are torn. I keep him centered without touching his stride. The beanie from yesterday leans on the rail across. Different jacket, same lazy stalker posture. He studies my target and then studies me. I let him catch my eye and hold. Predators love the wrong kind of attention. A compact sedan cruises past the curb and pauses. New plate, same lazy tailing rhythm. My jaw tightens as the window drops a notch. I shift position so the dash cam sees me. The car moves on and circles the block. My target stops at a plaque and pretends to read. His hand checks his pocket like something is alive. The envelope still there, weighted like a plan. He taps it twice and inhales through teeth. Decision is near enough to taste. I break cover and cross in a straight line. He notices and squares up like a cornered runner. Traffic cameras are better on the west span. My voice lands calm and meant to help. He stares and recalculates my category. Why do you care? Chin lifted, shoulders locked. Because someone else cares more, I tilt toward the sedan. He tracks the hint and tracks the threat. A muscle jumps in his cheek like a trigger. We stand in a stalemate built by strangers. The beanie peels off the rail and drifts closer. I turn to him and raise my phone high. Great day for civic selfies, I grin without warmth. He scratches his neck and backs into tourists. He will return when he thinks we forget. I guide my target toward bicycle lanes for cover. Motion hides watchers better than walls. He lets me lead 5 steps, then resists. You first, he gestures, testing my intent. I go because fear feeds copycats. We stop at the chalk X and do not look down. He clocks it without blinking, then chooses to ignore it. Smart move, booby traps belong to arrogance. I nudge the folded map with my shoe. He pretends not to notice that either. The prepaid phone under the span thrums again. He hears it like a rumor in his bones. I point at the water and talk about tide. We walk to the steps and lean out of microphones. The call stops before either of us reaches it. Two scooters buzz through and scatter the crowd. The sedan slows again and parks by a hydrant. A passenger checks the mirror and adjusts a cap. I sweep the sidewalks for uniforms and find none. We are on our own until I invent help. Walk with me to the kiosk, I keep it brisk. He hesitates, then nods with a short jerk. We move as a pair without names and history. That fiction buys 10 seconds of safety. 10 seconds is a city if you plan it. At the kiosk I buy a ticket I will not use. The clerk looks bored and taps a receipt. Busy today, I ask to plan a witness. Packed, he shrugs at the door. Good, a bored witness still remembers faces. We step back out and a biker cuts too close. My target yanks me toward him on reflex. His grip is solid and unwilling to release. I let the contact last longer than needed. He feels the shake I try to hide. Who are you? Not loud, too precise. Someone who noticed the repetition. I scan the curb. The sedan slides away as if it heard us. That tells me the passenger is patient and wired. We need to burn a root or burn a tail. I steer him down the stairs under the span. He lingers at the third step and counts bolts. The prepaid buzzes again where I left it. He doesn't chase the noise this time. Good, he is learning the rules mid-game. A jogger passes and touches an earbud twice. That signal could mean anything or nothing. I swap sides with my target and block the view. The jogger glances once and veers uphill. Everyone is playing little games today. We reach the landing where wind kills microphones. 3 questions, he keeps his voice steady. Ask 2, I watch his hands for tremor. Are you with them? He jerks toward the road. No, I answer before the word finishes. Do you want something from me? He narrows focus. Yes, the truth tastes like a door opening. What? A flex of doubt and raw interest. For you to follow. A different schedule today. He hates it, but he hears the logic. Up top, the beanie has returned with a coffee. He pretends to scroll and waits for a cue. The sedan crawls by at the exact wrong speed. The passenger holds a phone low by the thigh. We need a third axis they cannot monitor. I pull the envelope from my target's pocket. He reaches to stop me, then lets it go. I slide it under the public bench by the posts. Insurance, I tap the wood and step back. If they grab it, they show their hand. We drift to the snack stand and form a line. Noise swallows words and facial tells. He drags a sleeve across his brow and studies me. Trust is not coming, but momentum is. I pay cash and leave with 2 bottles I don't want. North stairs, I point with my chin and move. He stalls 5 paces to audit my route. The beanie shadows the beeline until I stop. I stop so he has to choose a path. He chooses a bench near a group on break. I sit at the far end and pretend to text. He keeps his head down and sips mechanically. The group laughs too loud and masks our silence. Across the span, the passenger answers a call. The sedan pulls away and then loops back. Throw your bottle, I keep my tone flat. He frowns, then arcs it toward the trash. A gull dives and knocks it off course. The bottle rolls under the bench with the envelope. We both watch the same mistake and learn. The beanie rises at last and strolls over. Got a light? He cups a palm and leans in. Not for you, I take his measure slowly. He smirks at me and then at my target. His eyes search for a signal I do not give. Busy morning, he taps his pocket twice. I scratch my wrist and stare at the water. He waits for me to twitch into code. I deny him every cheap opening. He leaves with a shrug that promises a return. I stand and start toward the bus pier. My target stays seated for 3 beats. Then he joins me with a small nod upward. He is done pretending this is random. The day just rewrote our contract. At the pier I buy 2 tickets I will ditch. We queue behind a family that argues in bursts. The queue funnels us through a narrow gate. The gate has a camera and a guard. I guide him there to force a record. We board and then immediately step off the back. The guard clocks our faces and our exit. He will be a witness if anyone asks. The sedan cannot follow onto a boat. They will try the next choke point instead. We cut through a plaza and into a market. Stalls give cover and exits every 10 meters. I hand him a folded sheet with directions. He takes it and doesn't unfold it yet. Trust is a muscle that cramps when new. The beanie reappears near a fruit display. He mouths a name I do not recognize. My target's shoulders react before his face does. So the name means history I haven't earned. I clock it and pocket the pain for later. Left now, I push through a service corridor. We break onto a side street that empties fast. The sedan turns in at the far end again. Of course it does, because obsession travels. I raise my arms like someone signaling a tow. The car hesitates and then kills its lights. I snap a photo and call non-emergency. Suspicious vehicle trailing multiple pedestrians. I give cross streets and hang up mid-script. They will arrive late, but late still helps. Why me? He slows enough to face me square. Because you've been tested all week. By you, he tightens his jaw and waits. By them, I point back without looking. He wants to argue and chooses forward instead. We slide into a crowded lobby and breathe differently. Security wands beep and slow everyone down. The beanie ghosts the doorway and decides against entry. The sedan idles at the curb like it owns time. We let them watch us disappear through a second exit. Outside, I press a metal token into his palm. Locker stationee 2 hours only. He turns it over once and pockets the instruction. Will you be there? Voice quiet but edged. I'll be exactly where I should be. He studies me and almost asks for a name. I give him an anchor instead of a label. West Span tomorrow is dead to you now. He nods once, sharp like a pact. We split and hold the tier until corners hide us. I circle 3 blocks and double back on instinct. The beanie meets the passenger beside a pump. They argue in silhouettes and swipe at the air. The car door slams and the horn bleats once. Their frustration tells me we stole a march. I take the long road towards Station E and wait. A clock above the concourse chews minutes with malice. He arrives early and sets a pack on the bench. He goes to the lockers and uses my token. I stay in the reflection of a timetable board. He pulls out exactly what I planted at dawn. A plain phone, a card with a single number. He looks around and chooses not to panic. He dials and lifts his chin like a dare. I answer from across the hall and let silence stretch. Now you're in this with me, my voice low and firm. You were never out, he breathes once and steadies. We use this line only when those two reappear. He nods although he can't see me clearly. He hangs up first and keeps the phone. He leaves the station by a different tunnel. I track the passenger through the exit opposite. They split at a cab rank with loud frustration. The beanie throws something and misses the bin. Their sloppiness is my green light. I step out into the street and choose my angle. Tomorrow moves from watching to contact by design. No trivia, no accidents, a real encounter. If I fail, he inherits my enemies and my debt. If I succeed, his life will tilt toward me forever. I open the locker bay and swap the phone's SIM. The line goes live with a single vibration. Market clock in 20, I speak before nerves argue. He exhales like a runner breaking tape. We're past shadows now and stepping into daylight. I reach the square and post at the fountain. Vendors bark short deals and drown out eavesdroppers. A courier wheels through and scans faces fast. I text one word to our new line. Here, then I pocket the device and wait. He approaches at an angle that avoids mirrors. Hands empty, gate clipped, jaw ready to break. He stops 1 arm's length away and nods once. Name, his fingers touch his wrist like a tick. Later, I tilt my head toward the chess tables. We walk without touching and count exits. A hawker steps close and flashes a grin. I overpay and ask for directions I know. The hawker points loud enough for microphones. Good witness created, cheap but useful. The knit cap watcher lurks near the newsstand again. Different shoes, same hungry patience. I angle my body to block his sightline. Smile like I told a joke, I keep it light. He bares teeth for the camera on the awning. 2 minutes, then West Arcade, I toss the cup. He peels off and circles the kiosks in arcs. I lag behind and test for a third tail. An unmarked vehicle ghosts the curb and stalls. I text him 1 word again, shift. We reunite at the escalators with match pace. Why trust you now? His voice barely clears his throat. Because today they're sloppy, I nod at the car. He studies my eyes for wobble and finds none. We ride down into the concourse and blend hard. At the bottom, I steer him through ticket styles. He taps a card and we clear the choke. A guard watches and logs our faces on instinct. I give a half wave like a commuter with errands. Routine is armor when you can sell it. We cross to the food court and hold beside Steam. Heat fogs the nearest lens and buys a pocket. I show him a crumpled receipt with 3 symbols. Stations times 1 decoy, he memorizes without touching. We split then converge at the museum. He bristles at the split and breathes twice. I'm asking him to leap without netting. 3 minutes apart, I add with a steady blink. He answers with a curt nod and peels off. I swallow the urge to drag him along. I loop the perimeter and collect reflections. Visor guy shadows him until he loses courage. The car prowls above like a shark that forgot water. A woman with gloves scans the board and smirks. Her presence tightens the line around our day. At S. Street level, I plan a decoy envelope. A plain card inside with a single number. I call non-emergency and report a suspicious drop. The operator promises a unit when available. That call will jam their window if I'm lucky. The museum doors breathe crowds in quick surges. I take the left entry and scan for him. He slips through the right and meets my pace. No eye contact, just orbit until a safe corner. We land near a sculpture and trade bags clean. Walk me through your plan, his shoulders stay tense. Lunchroom then workshop then West Gate. Why West? A hard swallow like gravel. The handlers like cars, gates embarrass cars. His gaze softens 1 degree at that truth. We join a tour and use the guide as cover. He asks a planted question about opening hours. The guide answers loud enough for anyone recording. I cough once when 2 suits appear near stairs. He pivots smoothly toward the gift shop and breathes. A child bumps my hip and stumbles. I steady them and keep my bag visible. The suits move on with a bored glance. They're fishing, not hunting yet. That window is closing with every lap. We sit at separate tables in the lunchroom. A volunteer asks if the seat is taken. I nod and keep my phone face down. Across the room, he checks our line for updates. Nothing yet, which is an update. I text 1 silent instruction to his phone. Ask me something normal, meet me halfway. He stands with a tray and detours to my spot. Is the exhibit worth it? He keeps eyes low. Depends on what you think is missing. His mouth twitches and his shoulders unlock. That laugh is the first true thing today. We clear the trays and time our exit. Downstairs, a school group floods the corridor. We slip into the noise like it was planned. The workshop doors have windows like confession booths. Inside, people cut paper and whisper short advice. We take stations 2 apart and keep our heads down. I pass him a sticker with a locker number. He palms it and never breaks rhythm. A shadow fills the glass and blots the room. Cap guy brows heavy, eyes hunting for tells. He moves on after counting chairs twice. I let my breath go in 3 quiet beats. We've borrowed minutes the way thieves borrow ladders. Time to leave, I mouth it, not trusting sound. We file out with the crowd and drift to stairs. At the landing, 2 uniforms block access. The woman with gloves appears behind them smiling. We are 1 corridor from a trap. I step forward before fear can paralyze. Lost kid by the restrooms, my tone is urgent. The uniforms tilt toward responsibility like magnets. The glove woman clocks the play and holds back. She wants us to choose a route she designed. We choose neither and vanish through staff doors. A cleaner blinks once and looks away. We cut a service hall and pop into daylight. The Westgate spits us onto a taxi queue. Cars can't surge here without cause. He grabs my elbow and stops me short. You still owe me a name, breath rough. I do. I scan the street for the car. It prowls 2 blocks down and misses the turn. After we buy 1 minute of peace. We duck into a photo booth and pull the curtain. I feed coins and press my knee against his. First frame, eyes front, the flash hits hard. Second, look at me, the flash doubles the pulse. Third, choose, his hand rises and lands on mine. The strip prints, I tear it in half. You keep yours, I slide mine into my sleeve. He studies the frames and swallows something stubborn. Then he lifts his chin and gives me a word. Evans. My chest stutters at the simple risk. I offer mine like a handshake across a ledge. He repeats it under his breath and nods. Outside, horns flare as traffic locks the block. The glove woman appears at the corner and stares. We walk opposite directions and use a bus as cover. Halfway down the lane, I circle back fast. He is already doing the same with equal nerve. We meet dead center under a blinking sign. Coffee, he says like a dare that might heal. We sit by the window and face the glass. He checks our line for a fresh ping. I silence it and let the world blur. Tomorrow you don't run, I tell him. He nods once, finally believing the promise. The car crawls past and fails to find us. A squad approaches from the decoy call. Gloves weighs options and fades into the swarm. Evan leans back and breathes, not quite safe. Now we start for real, I whisper into the steam. I wake our line with one sharp tap. Window and 40, his reply lands like a challenge. I grab a coin, a scarf, and nothing sentimental. Today I stop hiding behind clever roots. Today I knock on his life for real. I sweep the square once and clock no watchers. Hatchback from earlier never shows its nose. Glove and passenger stay off stage or broke pattern. Silence can be bait just as easily. I move anyway because stalling breeds chaos. He emerges near the post office and checks roofs. We drift tea. Over at each other as if bored. Walk 2 blocks north, I murmur with my jaw tight. He falls in beside me without touching. We let the city absorb us, then spit us out. At the corner, I test him with a cut. He tracks the pivot and stays smooth. Last rehearsal, I warn, opening the map in my head. If we see them, we separate clean. He nods once and tightens his grip on nothing. We pass a camera and hold easy smiles. A courier glances twice, then loses interest. I loosen my shoulders and measure air. No pressure waves, no echoing footsteps. This is as quiet as it gets. 2 teenagers drift behind us and whisper fast. One peels off toward a bus shelter. The other hangs back and pretends to stretch. I lead him through a florist and outside doors. When we reappear, the teen is gone. Near his block, sirens flare, then fade to normal noise. We pause under a balcony and listen hard. He starts to speak and I cover his hand. Door, I say, feeling my throat burn. I'm done being a ghost. He studies my face like a map with traps. Then do it right, he answers, softer than before. He releases my hand but not the thread. We climb the last flight with even steps. He unlocks the landing with a steady wrist. I stop 1 pace short of his threshold. Chance to run still breathes behind me. I raise my knuckles and choose impact. 3 knocks clear, unmistakable. He opens wide like a verdict. I stand straight and use my real name. Hi, we haven't met, officially. His mouth fights a smile and loses. Come in, he says, stepping aside just enough. The hall hums like a wire we dared. Inside, I do not sit or touch anything. Boundaries matter when truth is newborn. Ground rules, I say, keeping my voice level. No blinds, no lies, no vanishing mid-sentence. He breathes out, then nods like a contract formed. Our phones vibrate at the same time. Unknown number on both screens, same text. Bridge now alone. We look at each other and let silence argue. We turn the phones face down and do not move. I choose here, he says with a sharper spine. Then we start here, I answer, feeling the shift. Beyond the door, the stairwell stays calm. On the table, our halves of the photo wait. For once I stop counting exits and stay.